Simon & Schuster AudioWorks presents Star Trek: The Next Generation.
Are you Team Musk or Team Trump in the split?
I'm a fence on this one, honestly.
No offense saying you need to choose.
I need to choose. You've got a gun pointed at me, and I need to choose. What?
Well, because it dictates what direction we go in the future war. You need to choose.
Okay.
In the Badlands, when some Musk raiders come up on you,
They got
and
their,
they have their like
Cybertrucks. They have their
they got their like decked out Cybertrucks, and they've got guns that look like they're from Starfield or something.
Yeah, they have their flamethrowers. The flamethrowers that they had. Yeah,
and they're pointed at you, and they ask you Musk or Trump. You can't be sitting there going, well, I think both sides have something important. You got to choose.
Yeah.
Same with the Trump riders.
The Trump riders, which are rolling coal in big trucks, right? They're rolling
old
coal.
Semi-trucks.
Yeah. What else? I don't know what else. A lot of flags, right? That's like a big thing.
Flag motif, yeah.
A lot of flags.
Some classic cowboy revolvers, probably.
Yeah, red
and
hats, of course.
AR-15s.
Red hats, of course, right? That's like a big. That's our uniform. Honestly, like the red hat as a uniform.
Everything else is customizable, optional, as long as you've got the red hat.
I feel like.
What are you choosing? What group are you riding with?
If I wanted to be underhanded, then probably Elon Musk fans, because I feel like they're more gullible. Honestly.
Yeah, well, I mean, they all fall for like crypto scams.
And they also I feel like the
sort of the Trump people.
Trump people are like, but they're the thing is that they're more like they probably would test you. They'll be like, you'll be like, I don't know, you try to throw a can into a recycling bin, and they'll know. They're like, what are you doing? They shoot you immediately. But with the Elon Musk fans, it's like, I don't know, they don't have there isn't really any values, right, associated with that side, except for being fans of Elon Musk.
But it's,
right?
general sort of libertarian values, which is basically a shallow, the surface level is like, no values, individual rights. But then certain individual rights are a no-go.
Yeah, that's true.
And also, like, the government should be bailing us out for our bad crypto purchases.
We should have a agency in the government that handles.
They're like
scams.
what we
but
love.
No
is
universal
there's no regulation. There's no regulation for crypto, but also, the government should be protecting me when it comes to crypto scams.
Yeah, exactly. Because I'm investing in the future. Unlike other people. So the government should subsidize that. Not healthcare, but my crypto losses.
I think if it's a binary, I'm probably also. I might have. I don't know, because I was gonna say the Elon guys I can imagine being insufferable, but then the Trump guys aren't gonna be that much better.
They're not gonna be different. They're bad. I feel they'll be more aggressive too.
Yeah, that's true.
You know what I mean? Like that's the thing.
I'm just gonna have to go with who I think would win, and I think it would be the Trump people. So.
Yeah, you're right. Honestly, that is a very good point. So you're gonna have to really camouflage your way into that circle.
I can make it work.
Yeah.
The thing is like they try and quiz me, but I'm sure they don't know the answers to what they're asking me anyway. So if I just answer confidently enough, I get by.
I have to go. I have to.
They're like, what year was the First Amendment written into the Declaration of Independence? And I'll be like, 1705. 1705. And they'll be like...
That makes sense.
Sure, Probably.
How old is the universe or whatever, the world? And you're like, 100 years old?
It's like asking, how old is God? We don't really know for sure.
That's true, I guess, yeah. But yeah, I don't know. That's the thing, right? It's like, you afterwards, I'll ask you and go like, what did you have to do to stay? Yeah. And you were like, you don't want to know what I had to do. You'll
Let's
try
just
to hide
say
that.
all of my shirts are pink now from having to launder their hats. I haven't got a non-pink shirt in my entire wardrobe.
That's the ironic part, right? It's like these they don't know how to do washing properly, so all their uniforms become pink in the end. What does that tell you? You know?
Yeah. They have to just keep buying new white shirts.
That's true. They get
throwing away the old pink ones in their wake.
Yeah.
They're too fruity.
Exactly. You know? But yeah, I don't know. Factions and stuff. I would just hide away, maybe. That's probably...
You can, but, you know, that's always a bit of a gamble, I think.
That's true.
It's always a bit of a gamble to hide.
Oh, you have the thing with, like, you have a cupboard where you have the Trump uniform and you have the Elon Musk uniform, and you assume that identity whenever you interact with the people of that side, you know? Right? That's how you do it? You can do that, right?
Yeah, well, you do that, and then one day the Elon guys say, well, you know, our boys, we've been riding around in our Cybertruck so long, we're mighty thirsty. We come in and have a drink, and they're rooting around, open up cupboard, mega hat.
Oh, no.
I thought you said you were a Musk raider like us. I thought you supported Elon.
But then I say,
before you know it, they're big fucking Cyberpunk 2077 replica guns pointed right now.
Yeah, the flintlock guns that they have, yeah.
Like 3D printed shit. It explodes in their own face afterwards, but that doesn't matter because you're already dead.
I'm dead because the explosion engulfs the house, my shelter that I'm in right now.
Everybody's dead. Yeah.
Everybody's dead, you know. But yeah, I don't know, man. I hope it doesn't come to that.
If some butts were candy and nuts, we'd all have a Merry Christmas, Max. You gotta prepare for the future.
We don't have to worry about that. We don't have them people over here, right? Right? We don't have to worry about it, right? It's over there.
This weekend, I walked past a Five Guys, a Wingstop.
Oh, that's true.
Or a Wing... I can't remember the name of the place now.
Popeyes, Wingstop.
And a Popeyes.
Yeah.
It's gonna come.
They're taking over. Burger King. There was a Burger King there too.
Burger King. Once Nigel Farage ends up winning the government, then he'll open the door wide. He'll basically just be like, "Here you go. You can just have England. It's
all
America now.
All the American refugees will come to England. You know."
Sad times.
Yeah, but you know,
sad times at Dead Ensigns High. Welcome to Dead Ensigns. Number one.
I don't know. I there isn't a very
video gaming.
You just okay, all right.
Because it was Summer Games Fest 3 week.
Yeah,
this
that's
week.
True.
Oh, what a weekend it was! Wednesday till Monday.
We watched so much of that garbage.
I missed some of it, but who didn't miss some of it? You know.
Yeah, it's impossible to have caught all of it.
Because I know you weren't watching Black Voices in Gaming at like an hour and a half ago.
Oh no, I did. I forgot that was a thing. Yeah, did they announce anything interesting?
No, there was some fun-looking little games, but again, this is my thing throughout all... I'm Ben, this is Megs, by the way.
Yeah.
My thing throughout all of it is that in the moment I'm watching and I'm like, that game looks fun, that game looks okay, that other game looks alright, but then you get to the end and I'm like, I forgot fucking everything. I've forgotten every single thing. The only game that is stuck in my mind the entire time is that one little friend slop game at the Day of the Devs, you know, the walking one?
A
big walk or whatever.
A big walk. It's the guys that did the annoying goose game or whatever the fuck, right?
Untitled Goose Game?
Untitled game,
Is it the same devs? I don't know. I missed the part where the devs introduced it. I just saw the game itself and I was like, that looks like a fun game.
Yeah, exactly.
Untitled Goose. Let me...
You walk around, you have fun with your friends, you know?
It had some fun. House, is that the developer? Yeah, Big Walk.
Yeah, there you go.
It looked fun.
But yeah, those sort of experiences are always... And it's like, I don't know, like, the Big Walk got announced, like, quite a long time ago. So it isn't really triggered by the friend swap epidemic that we're currently having, right? It just kind of had its own way.
It's synchronicity.
Yeah, that's
it's
true.
Supposed to be coming out this year. Big Walk.
Mm-hmm.
That was my game of the show. That was
honestly, yeah.
I guess.
Very
few. I
few.
saw and I was like, you know what? That looks like a game that will be fun to play. But maybe I'll be reminded when we go through the things, and I can be like, oh yeah, that looked okay actually. Yeah, that looked pretty good.
Very few games that I'm like, oh yeah, this looks like I'm really looking forward to this now that I've seen this. You know, a lot of games that I'm excited for, right, are games that I already seen, and I already before the shows, I already kind of looked forward to them, right? And they just showed a bit more of them, and I was like, oh, nice, you know, a little bit more gameplay and stuff like that. But nothing from even the major stuff like Xbox and Sony, none of that really showed anything that I'm that interested in, honestly.
I agree.
What about you?
I'm inclined to agree. I feel like there's a lot of stuff that maybe a few years ago I would have been interested in, but I feel like just generally I'm like kind of checked out from a lot of the stuff they're showing. Yeah,
there's just like Resident Evil, the new Resident Evil game got announced, which I don't really care for that much. I'm not
a Resident Evil head, so I can't comment. Really.
It's cool that they announced it, and there's probably a lot of fans that are looking forward to it, but I'm not one of them. There is stuff like Code Vein. I forgot about the fact that they made a second one because
maybe we should start going through. Do you want to start going through? We'll start with Sony. State of Play last week on Wednesday. This isn't in order of an announcement. I'm just looking at Michael McWhirter of Polygon has done a lovely little compilation, so I can just scroll and see them, and I don't have to use my memory at all. Thank you, Michael. So anyway, Marvel Tokon. This was probably the biggest thing they announced at the Sony thing. That's right. Fair to say.
I guess, yeah.
And I don't know. Personally, it looked kind of boring. Hold on.
Oh, what's going on? You're allergic to PlayStation.
I'm allergic to shitty games.
It sounds like sounds like a answer, like one of those really weird ads they would make back in the day, but to make fun of Xbox or something like that. It would be like, you're allergic to Xboxes. Buy a PlayStation, you know, something like that. It's like a gigantic baby that laughs or something. And
you're not a fighting game person.
No, I'm not.
I enjoy fighting games, but this looks boring. I think it's a tag fighter, but it's 4 versus 4 characters.
Yeah.
Now, let me tell you something. If you're going to add more characters, you will have to make the characters more homogeneous.
Okay.
You know?
So
right. When you have like when you have like 3 characters, you want to make sure everybody feels relatively similar, I guess, you know?
Yeah.
Unless you're something like King of Fighters, which is a bit of a legacy series, so they can't really do that. But for example, I think a good comparison for this game is Dragon Ball FighterZ, which came out nearly 10 years ago. It's closer to 10 years at this point.
Yeah.
I think it's 7 or 8 years old. So that was a 3v3, and it was supposed to be a great point of entry into fighting games for people, right? Mm-hmm. Characters were all pretty similar. Supers were all very basic inputs that anybody can do. They're all pretty much just various quarter circles, forward or back.
Yeah,
and then some buttons. And it had a low barrier of entry, but it had a pretty high skill ceiling. You know.
Yeah.
I think this is gonna be too homogenous. I feel like these characters are gonna have a couple buttons, and it's gonna be like very straightforward, just mashing auto combos out, you know?
You think so?
They've shown off some videos where they were like, here's some combos or something, and it was all just like 4 hits, like bat.
Do you think it's because of the associations with the property? I guess maybe.
Yes, I think 100% Marvel is probably looking at this going like, this needs to be baby's first game.
Yeah, this needs to be accessible.
More than just baby's first fighting game. This needs to be baby's first game in general.
I guess, yeah, that's true. But yeah, it looks nice, I guess. Some of the designs
it looks gorgeous, but I think that's kind of like the reason why it will take off at the end of the day is because it's a property everybody knows, and it's an Arxis game, which means it's very pretty.
Yeah, I like the Doctor Doom's and walking animation when he just like has that like really saunter when he just like saunters towards the slowly, which is nice, But I guess isn't that like a big aspect of fighting games, right? Is the art, right? That they put into artism, they put into the characters,
and especially these days, games live and die by whether they look nice.
That's true.
There are some very good, technically impressive games that can come out, and people can look at them and go, like, "This looks like shit. I don't want to play it."
Mm-hmm.
It's not flashy enough. I think that happened to the last Marvel vs. Capcom. Personally, I think that's a cool and fun game. People did not play it because it looked like straight dog shit.
Okay.
It was an ugly game, and it's something that's happened that SNK have been fighting against since they came back. Because when they came out with KOF 14, that was kind of a comeback game, and their first like major 3D release. And people weren't really fucking with it because it was ugly. And over time, their 3D stuff has improved, and now people are fucking with them again.
Do you think now they need to make a 5 versus 5 fighting game? Now that they
maybe someday it'll come. Who knows?
6 versus 6, 7 versus 7, and you just have access to the entire roster of characters at all times.
So there was a leaker. There was a leaker who came out and leaked some stuff. Leaked 4 things, 2 of which we saw at Summer Games Fest. One was, I think, Marvel Tokon, and the other one was the next the next season of characters of Street Fighter 6.
Mm-hmm.
And they got those right. And then the other things they said is that there is going to be another Marvel vs. Capcom game.
Okay.
For next year, apparently, or later this year or something. I can't remember. And there's also going to be another SNK versus Capcom game at some point that's in development. So we'll see if that runs true. But they are 2 for 4 at the moment.
Yeah, the fighting game fans be hitting good or not, I guess. It depends how you read what Ben just said, because it seems like he's pretty... I
mean, it'll be good, I think, maybe.
Just eating anything, I guess.
We'll see. There's a lot of tank fighters coming out now. Anyway.
Yeah. What else?
Final Fantasy Tactics. Yeah, people like this game, right?
Remake. They have no noses.
I don't know if you're a big Final Fantasy guy. I've never played Tactics, but maybe this would be a
not a fan to that. I'm not that
you hate
into
fantasy.
I hate fantasy.
There's a reason the term fantasy slop exists.
Yeah, I have reality. I'm all about reality,
That's fair.
Mm-hmm.
It's good to have a reality check every now and then.
What else?
They got the Lumines Arise puzzle game in the vein of Tetris Effect. I like Tetris Effect.
Another game to get high to and play, I guess, with all the visuals.
I mean, they must have been high making it, right, bro?
Not yet true, right? With all the visuals.
They must have been high as F when they were making this one.
It was pretty interesting that they opened with it, and for like a lot of the intro, I was like, is this a game? Is this just the intro to the show? And then it shows the actual gameplay eventually of Sideway Tetris. I don't know, like the thing moves from left to side.
I couldn't say Pragmata. This is a game they've been making for a while. They revealed it a long time ago, and I don't know this game. I actually missed this trailer. I think I got up when it was on.
Mm-hmm.
Pragmata.
I've seen this trailer for this game. It got announced a really long time ago, and we didn't see much from it since this, basically. Yeah. But it just looks like another kind of like... It reminded me a little bit of Surge. I don't know if you remember that game. It was like the Souls-like that...
Surge,
with just like, the machines take over the world and whatever, and then you battle them, or whatever. But maybe it'll be interesting. It gives me a bit of Stellar Blade vibes, but whatever. Maybe it'll be nice.
Another Capcom game. Neo 3. Neo is back.
Yeah.
You don't play as a white guy this time.
Why not? Why can't they have more white guys
What happened
in these games?
Yeah, this is like one of the last bastions of white guys in games.
Yeah.
And now they're getting rid of it for DEI has invaded Japan, and now they're putting Japanese people in Japanese games.
Yeah, I can't imagine why they would do that.
What the hell? Tecmo Koei.
Exactly.
Tecmo.
What else?
The freak is going on? The Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection, Max. Have you ever wanted to play the old as fuck Mortal Kombat games?
No.
Why not? Well, neither have I.
Because I play, when I want to get violent, I play Manhunt, and I look at all the executions there.
I get over here.
No. I like the guy putting a plastic bag over a guy's head and bashing his brains in. I feel like that's more personal and violent together, honestly.
That's fucked up.
This is like, you pull a guy's heart out, he's dead. Well, if you put a bag over his head, he's suffocating,
Yeah. And that's all it was back then. Nowadays, it's like, you gotta they get a big sword and they cut them in half long ways, but then they leave the spine and then they pull the torso up so the spine extends and then they play the spine like a guitar.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of their entrails are like slowly falling out of the top half of their body. Yeah. And
that's
then they fucking grab their brain and like pull their brain out and then feed their brain to themselves.
Yeah.
And the whole time it's zooming in slow motion constantly and showing it in extreme detail.
It's X-ray vision and IR vision at the same time.
Yeah. And it turns out it's not even a fatality. It's just like a grab.
It's just a grab. Yeah.
It's just,
the guy gets up. Yeah. And continues fighting. Yeah.
So if you want to relive the classic Mortal Kombat where the fatalities were like they kick the other guy in the knee and he goes, "Oh, my knee," and falls over,
and the guy goes, "Toasty."
The Legacy Collection is it. Silent Hill F.
Yeah.
What the freak? A Silent Hill game? Silent Hill Freak. This is made by it's directed by a Japanese guy who made a couple very, very popular horror visual novels.
Mm-hmm.
Igarashi and Mineko. So people are excited for this one, I think.
Finally, we have Japanese people working on the Silent Hill game, I guess, instead of Polish people working on a remake.
Thank God.
You know what I mean?
Speaking of remakes, Max, are you excited to replay Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater?
I haven't ever played those games.
Now it's all... You should play the Metal Gear Solid games.
I can't be bothered.
They're fun, dude. They're fun. You get to do so much wacky stuff in them.
I don't know, maybe someday. I have so many of those like old games to play. Like I downloaded I bought that Silent Hill 2 for PC to play because I never played those games. Because I wanted to do an experiment of actually experiencing the original and then playing the remake, Yeah. But too much time.
You do got to play a game. Well, first of all, you have to play Silent Hill 2. Then you also need to play the remake, which is twice as long.
Yeah.
Despite being the exact same story.
Well, maybe there's something important they wanted to add to the story.
They wanted to add something important. I didn't play the remake, so I couldn't say whether or not they actually did add anything important. But
exactly.
I'm assuming they
probably
did.
not. But what else? What else did Sony wow us with?
Well, I wanted to say you don't need to remake Snake Eater. It's not important. Bloodstained, the Scarlet Engagement. Did you play Bloodstained?
No.
No, I didn't either. Romeo is a Dead Man, the new Suda51 game. This looked cool.
This looked interesting. The only
I like
thing about Suda51. Yeah, I always look forward to Suda51 games because they're funny and they have like weird things in them and they're interesting to see and play. Mm-hmm. The only thing I had a bit of an issue with is that when it cut to gameplay, it was like, oh, it looks very much like an Unreal game, and I was like, but maybe it's just like the another thing is that they did go through like a little montage where it was like cutting through different sections. There was a lot of like arcade, a lot of stylistic things in there too. So maybe it's just like, parts of the game maybe have different styles to them. That very weird kind of Unreal look that a lot of games, especially this year, Unreal did so many games on Unreal Engine.
Unreal is everywhere because it's so cheap.
It's
free.
cheap to make and it's easy to hire to make to get engineers to actually make the thing you want to make.
Very much so. Very much so. Well, yeah, that one looked cool. Sea of Remnants. It was like Sea of Thieves, but I don't know.
Yeah, I was very kind of like, because it was like actually like we haven't got much gameplay out of this, but it looked very action RPG, but then it cut to like very much like Exposition 33, sort of where you're like stuck facing the enemy, you're stuck in turn-based combat, and we're like it's very much like Sea of Thieves with its stylistic choices too, with the color palette even. It's very
weird art style. It's being published by NetEase. It's being published by NetEase, not developed by them, but published.
All right.
By NetEase. Yeah, I don't know. I guess we'll see.
We'll see. Yeah, not
Fresh
much info on
game. Tides of Tomorrow. I think they've shown this on before. It's like a big story game where you get to really alter what you experience and do and stuff. I think
it has to do because they're making like a Heavy Rain game. Like a David Cage game. What if it was multiplayer? Basically, it seems right. So like people from other games will be able to affect your path, right?
Which is interesting.
It's an interesting concept, right? It's I would imagine it could maybe someone drive someone mad. They'll be like, "Fuck! I was looking at the walkthrough.
I can't fucking do it anymore."
Yeah, exactly. Fuck. Yeah. So we'll see how people will react to that idea. But it looked interesting. It looked kind of what's that arcane looking in terms of stylistically.
Sure. Digimon Story. There's a new Digimon Story game, like the follow up to Cyber Sleuth from I think like 10 years ago at this point or something.
I don't know.
The fucking PS Vita.
Don't know anything about.
I like
Digimon.
the last Digimon game. These ones are very straight RPGs. Like you get your Digimon, you fight your Digimon.
It does seem that you have a Digi device. It seems like you just have a phone now, which is, I don't know what to think about it. Yeah, everybody has it. You just download your phone. I want to develop get an app on your phone. We need to make a Dead Ensign app for the phone.
You want to work on an app? We could get Dead Ensign's Insider app.
Yeah, it's like
you can read all the latest news. Listen to episodes and talk to your favorite Dead Ensigns fans.
Yeah, we'll get AI bots that are learned from us, and you could talk to them. And then we get Dead Coin.
Don't make them do anything bad.
You have to pay per session with Dead Coin. That's what we call it. Like you have to buy a currency in that.
It's two currencies: Dead Coin and Ensign bucks, both paid. And neither of them do anything in particular. And they're not exchangeable.
It's not exchangeable. Yeah, you're like one that sometimes you have enough Dead Coin, but you don't have enough Ensign bucks, and you're like, fuck.
Sometimes now here's the real trick.
Yeah,
there's a limit on how much Ensign bucks you can have, and a limit on how many Dead Coins you can have. But you can increase that limit. To increase your Dead Coin limit, you need to buy Ensign bucks. But in order to increase your Ensign buck limit, you have to buy Dead Coin.
Oh, it's a little bit like a nice catch-22.
Exactly.
Well,
anyway,
I'll get on that.
Sony is also making their own fight stick.
Wow.
Sony is also making Thief for VR. No, I already have a fight stick. I should probably get a new one, to be honest, because
it's all worn out.
It's kind of clunky.
It's all worn out. You ride it too much.
Here's what I will say about a PlayStation fight stick. Maybe don't get it. Because it will probably be there will be something up with it that will make it a pain in the ass for using it going forward. Fight sticks are really annoying to use. People usually have like little switches and stuff that they plug into first, or switches on their thing to change like what type of controller it is, you know?
Okay, interesting.
So, well, because it's like you take these things and you can't control what you'll be playing on exactly, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Usually people do use PlayStations, you know, to run these tournaments, but there might be games that get played on PC or Xbox. You can't really control it, so it needs to be... Plus, you'll be using it on your own at home, and you might be using it on your PC, right?
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
So you'll need something that you can use in various situations. And more than likely, an official Sony fight stick will probably not give you that kind of option, you know?
Yeah, there's some... I can look at it. There's some switches at the... I don't know, whatever.
Like external ones. There are switches at the back, but I don't know if they'll change to X input or anything.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe they've changed now. Can you plug a DualSense into an Xbox and play it?
I feel like
you
probably
can't.
You probably can't, yeah.
You
It is interesting how much this costs, though, right? Because fighting sticks tend to be quite expensive. It doesn't say, I think. I don't... at the page, at least, I'm looking at, it doesn't say. But... they're
getting cheaper. You can get the budget options, but they're usually pretty expensive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You can get budget options though. Thief Max, it's back in VR.
Yeah. I love VR.
Yep.
Do you do VR? Can you do VR? Because some people can't do VR.
But what, like physically?
Yeah, some people get motion sick. I
honestly have no idea. I've never done VR properly. There was one time I tried to do VR in university during like an event thing.
Yeah.
But it was awkward getting it on because of all my hair, and I didn't want to
Yeah.
I didn't want to sit there ages trying to get it on comfortably.
You don't want to spread your pink eye to other people through the headset.
Well, maybe a bit of that too.
Yeah.
So I honestly don't know if I'm the kind of person that gets motion sick in VR. I don't think I am, because I don't really get... I got motion sick a lot as a kid in cars, but hold on.
Okay. You're allergic to VR now.
My allergies keep growing and changing and shifting.
You need to make sure that you're fine with VR, because when mechs come around, then they're definitely going to be using VR, man. They're not going to be using them screens. Then if you get motion sick, they're not gonna take you as a VR. They're gonna take you as a mech pilot, you know. And this is, and this is the thing that you desire the most, is to become a mech pilot in the future.
No, I'm gonna be in the mechs from like Zeta, where they just sit you in a big transparent ball, basically.
Oh, okay, yeah. So you're nice and exposed.
No, you're inside an area, a ball that's covered in screens, basically.
Okay.
So you've got 360-degree view around you, and you're sitting in a chair that's, like, suspended in the middle of it.
Okay.
Controlling, you know. Sword of the Sea, Journey is back again for the 5th time.
Yeah, they made a game about the desert, they made the game about the ocean, and now they combined them both.
Yep, this is the desert, fuck it, it's the desert and the ocean.
And
if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
If you look at the desert, sometimes it kind of looks like an ocean.
Desert is kind of like an ocean of sand.
Yes, that is true.
And the ocean is kind of like a desert of water.
So it makes sense. I was thinking about they should release Journey was a game about connection and finding random people that you kind of journey with, right?
Yeah.
Fuck that! Like a Journey battle royale where you go and kill them. I think that would sell a lot better.
People just spawn into your game.
Yeah, and they can't.
That already exists. It's Dark Souls.
That's true.
You just walk around and they enter your game and they try and kill you, and you have to stop them. That's just Dark Souls.
Yeah.
Cairn. Do you like climbing mountains?
I do. This is one of the games that I was looking forward to. I'm already looking forward to this because this was announced before. They announced the date now, the release date for it.
And there's a demo.
There's a demo, and the demo is... I played the demo.
On Steam Next Fest?
I think so. I think it's just available in general now. But it's a fun game. I really like the way this... they actually did put the effort into like making the climbing mechanics, emulating the the kind of motions a climber does, they actually, because sometimes like you see these games and it's like and you're like, oh, this would be interesting to make a video game out of, and then you see a game that tries to do it, and it's like a very like a simplistic version of that idea, and you're like, oh, you were hoping for more in-depth simulation of that concept,
fucks
But-
me up, and it's in this game,
Yeah,
is when they have the little like tent that's hanging on the side of the mountain.
yeah, it's scary as
That's
fuck.
crazy.
Yeah. They even have like ones which is just a shelf that's like
Yeah,
like I don't know how
exactly.
fucking people do that shit. Climbing's
That's
not
so
for me,
crazy.
but this game from when I played the demo really did emulate the action of climbing pretty well. And I'm looking forward to it. Has a lot of charm to it.
Cool.
Yeah.
There's a new Ninja Gaiden coming out.
Nice.
Ragebound. Ninja Gaiden is back. Ragebound.
Yeah.
That was an origami game, Hirogami. That looked,
Yes.
looked neat.
Look neat.
Nice little
Yes.
platformer with your origami. And
have
then
so
there's
many-
Baby Steps from Quap.
Yeah, and it's Quap and that other game. What's the guy in the pot with the hammer?
Getting over it.
Getting
Bennett
over it.
Fodey, that's his name.
Yes, and this looks like I'm literally got a demo installed for that game. I was about to play it, but then we started recording, so
You were
Well-
about to play even though you knew the time we were going to be recording.
and we didn't even hit that time. Maybe I would have played it.
Well, we never hit the exact time. I think. That's just when we start the call to start recording.
That is
It's not
true.
like we start the call and then as soon as it goes, okay, go, record, go.
That's
click play,
true.
Click record.
No, are we not
So
doing it? I've
leave
been
me
recording
alone.
for like 30 minutes of silence of me just on my computer and this recording,
Oh, you have? Me
yeah.
too. Yay.
But and what else? I think we've gone
That's
through
Sony.
That's Sony.
Summer Game Fest with Jeff Keighley.
Do you feel like buying a PlayStation for any of these games? Well,
I did when we were walking through the town because we were hanging out this weekend alongside some other people. We did walk past a I think I don't think it was a CEX, but it was a CEX type store.
Yeah.
And I did linger to see the PlayStation 5s they had in the window and look at the secondhand price, and I was like, it's not too bad.
Yeah.
Because if I got one, I could play Death Stranding 2
Definitely. That's true. That is very much true. That's the only game that maybe
right away
would make
immediately,
me-
instead of waiting like a year and a half.
Yeah.
And then when I'm done with it, I can bring it over to you and you can play it.
Yeah, that's true.
You can have your turn, but me first.
Yeah, I'm gonna get your sloppy seconds,
It's Norman, sloppy Norman.
No, actually, normal seconds. You're gonna have my normal seconds. No, they're not sloppy. I would never slop up and make a sloppy seconds. I would make normal.
You can have the normal Normans. Read us. Sloppy Sams. There we go.
But yeah,
Summer Games Fest with Jeff Keighley. I like Jeff Keighley still. I feel like as he's completely positioned himself now as the face of AAA games, basically, in terms of games journalism. A lot of people have turned on him. They don't fuck with him anymore. I still fuck with him generally.
I don't mind him. Yeah, he's
Somebody
just a guy.
needs to be the lightning rod of AAA hatred, I guess.
Yeah, it's all the people that are like, oh, he's the head of this, and we don't like here. He's, we need to tear down.
Everybody's
Jeff
like, I wish
Keighley.
we were back in the E3 years, but Jeff Keighley killed it and made Summer Games Fest, and it's like,
That's
no.
true.
First of all, Nintendo killed it. Second, E3 wasn't better.
No,
It
wasn't.
felt like more of an event, but it wasn't better.
No.
It was stupider, but it wasn't better.
If you want to go to a convention, just go to Gamescom, I guess. It's all the
Yeah,
Americans
Gamescom,
complaining that
GDC,
it's not in California anymore. It's not local to them anymore. Gamer Central is Europe, unfortunately. Sorry,
And
Americans.
It was, for better or worse, Summer Games Fest is better for independent gamers, independent developers.
Yes, it is, because it's not run by like people that just basically want big corporate developers there, right?
It's not run by fucking E3 coming in and saying, okay, well, if you want a booth, you need to pay like $10,000. If you want to do like some kind of show or anything, you're gonna have to pay like $75,000. Well, more actually. I think I'm lowballing how much they charge.
Probably, yeah. Those sort of things tend to be like, how much? You're like, literally like
absolute shit done. Yeah. But then it wasn't Keighley. It was Nintendo came along. They started just doing their directs for the E3 instead, and then especially as soon as COVID hit and nobody could do E3 anymore, everybody looked at that and was like, wait a minute, why the fuck aren't we doing that?
Yeah.
They literally just pay for the production of the thing and then put it out on the internet and people watch it. And it's like the exact same viewership numbers either way.
Yeah, exactly. You know.
Why are we paying this other company? Why don't we cut out the middleman here?
Yeah. And then
the internet, we just get it directly to the people.
Yeah, and we could and they control what we show and stuff, you know. It's like they can bully us into a certain thing, and here we just have fully control of what we're showing.
Yeah, there was certainly an energy to E3 that Summer Games Fest doesn't have for sure.
I don't know. I think we're just kids, you know. I think we're just kids.
No, there was definitely because it had the live element is always something that like feels a bit different to a pre-recorded thing, you know.
I guess that's true. I forget that these
like because they always had these big auditoriums filled with people that were reacting at the same time, and you'd usually see them filling up in the background over the countdowns and stuff.
It was
journalists. It didn't have this air. Yeah. Either way, though, it's like there was a live energy that Summer Games Fest doesn't capture. But for me personally, it's like.
What do you mean? What do you mean? If you look at the chat on this YouTube stream and
please
there's people saying the N-word over and over again.
Seriously, man, looking at the Black Voices in Gaming thing earlier, it's like it's never been worse on the internet to just be a regular human being. Just terrible. I saw a guy saying like, where's Latin voices in gaming? Why not Asian voices in gaming?
It was a thing.
And it was like, bro, they did 2 of those shows over the weekend. they did Latin voices and they did fucking and they did Asian.
Yeah, it's so
they did
tough.
Those. You haven't been paying attention. You just want to be mad.
Yeah,
but you know,
it's true.
Yeah. Anyway, Summer Games Fest. Again, this is from my GM Adam Bankhurst's recap of it all. Thank you. It saves me looking through a fucking 2-hour video.
Can you send me the link for this so I can look up? Because I'm looking at the Steam thing. So it can be in sync. Unless I can just try to read your mind. That could be a thing that I could try doing.
So
that'd be interesting.
These aren't in reveal order. It would be. I always thought you could read my mind.
I need to cover it. I need to make sure that you don't find out.
Every time I've been purposefully not thinking fucked up things when I'm around you because I'm like, he can read my mind, but you're telling me you can't?
Yeah.
Well, I feel like that's going to save me a lot of anxiety in the future. Resident Evil 9. Resident Evil is back for the 9th time. I don't care about Resident Evil 9. I don't know about you, but I did like that they buried the lead halfway through the show.
Yeah, they did, yeah.
That was a fun little thing, how it was like, we can't show the game yet, but it'll be with you in the blink of an eye. And then at the end of the show, they showed the trailer for the game.
Yeah.
It was fun. Fun little misdirection. But I mean, I don't know, pre-rendered trailer for Resident Evil looked cool, I guess. I don't know.
An FBI agent or something, instead of like a cop.
There's like a post-apocalypse or something, or like nukes or something, I don't know. Lies of P Overture, which I thought was supposed to be... I'm not sure, I need to double check this.
Is
I
it
thought
DLC,
this was DLC
or is it...
I think it's a separate spin-off game, because it's like a prequel.
Yeah.
Let me double check. Lies of P Overture. No, it's DLC. It's DLC you don't.
Yeah.
Okay.
I haven't played the original Lies of P, so can't comment on.
I should play Lies of P.
Yeah, I don't know. I like these sort of Souls games. Like,
I can play them, but eventually I just drop off hard. Like I hit, like I'm just like, oh, I'm bored, of this.
That's fair.
So
I think I get that more nowadays. Like I didn't finish the Elden Ring DLC because I just, especially the latter half of that, it just feels like the pacing gets all fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
Like the first half feels like the main game where you're going through these areas and finding bosses, and then the last half just feels like, okay, here's this boss, here's this boss, okay, here's this boss, here's this boss. And I just start to go like, man, I don't fucking I'll move on. I was like, I want to go to this zone over here I can see on the map. I put a waypoint there, I start walking over there, I walk through a door, the only door that leads to it, and a boss appears, and I'm like, I don't want to fight this guy.
Well, you gotta
go over there for like a minute and see what's happening. Well. Anyway, Lies of P Overture looked cool. There was some cool designs and stuff.
Yeah.
Dying Light. You're a Dying Light head.
Dying Light gets weird because I like the first game a lot. Like I really enjoyed that.
Apologies
but for some
sniffing,
reason,
by the way.
but Dying Light 2. I was excited for that game, and I got a bit disappointed with that game. I feel like it gives you too many range weapons, so you kind of don't engage with the combat as much as you should, which is like the main selling point is kind of the melee combat and stuff of this. So maybe though, like this game, the new Dying Light, the Beast, looks a bit different to the previous game, so maybe they're going back more to that like close quarters engagements with your enemies, because you had like a lot of, in the second one you had the glider, you had all these like things that not just parkour basically they could use to move around with, but whatever. I guess
like they say, third time's a charm, right?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
it's coming out in August as well. That's kind of crazy.
If you have the money for it, then keep going until you nail it. But
it's a standalone story, though.
Yeah, it is.
Wu-Tang, Rise of the Deceiver. It looks kind of cool. I don't know.
It looks interesting.
Character
Looks
action,
like a little
Wu-Tang inspired game by Ghostface Killer.
The only thing
cool.
is that like there's been a lot of these sort of games recently. I feel like these kind of action,
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it'll be fun. Maybe it will do something different, a little bit different, that will be make it stand out. Except for the art style does look really interesting.
Yeah, I agree. I concur. New Onimusha game. Onimusha's cool. They're bringing it back. Old series. Hadn't had a game for a long time, but then Capcom were like, you know what? Fuck it, Onimusha again.
I don't know.
The Souls series, Dark Souls likes are big. Fuck it. Here's one, Onimusha. You want to play that?
No, I'm not that interested.
Yeah, same. New Game of Thrones game that's like RTS.
Yeah.
They didn't show any gameplay.
We thought it might be a mobile game for a second.
Have like a bit of a mobile vibe, but no, it's RTS.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll put it on iPad. Arc Raiders.
That's just another extraction shooter. People been hyped for it, so it was really funny because they included in the new beta release, closed beta release, they included a counter that was counting down.
Okay. Yeah.
And people thought it was going to get shadow dropped on like when I guess if you have a counter, it's not shadow drop anymore, but it's going to get dropped like the full release. But what the counter was doing was counting down to the reveal of the release date, and people got really pissed. Like people got really, really angry at the devs for it. Yeah. So but the people seem to be really enjoying this game, so I want to give it a try. I still haven't gotten access to the beta, so
maybe someday.
Maybe someday they'll let me in.
Hitman has put Mads Mikkelsen in it. That's whatever.
Whatever, man. I really don't get
game sequel to the Scott Pilgrim game they made when the first movie came out that was hooked.
Yeah. I was thinking it's like I was I know for just the Scott Pilgrim. I thought it's going to be a little bit different than just a beat 'em up, but it's just another beat 'em up. I
like beat 'em ups, but
the
first Scott Pilgrim beat 'em up game is really boring.
Yeah.
Not a very good beat 'em up.
Yeah. Mortal Shell 2.
Mortal Shell 2.
Interesting
didn't play
because
the first one.
the first one didn't get that much. Like it wasn't like the reviews. If you look at the reviews, it didn't get that good of a review. So it's interesting that they're kind of giving it another chance and they're making another one. You know, you have the heavy metal and murder montage of execution kills.
It's grim dark.
Yeah,
we love a little grim dark, don't we? We love a little grim dark, don't we, folks?
Yes, we do. Another game, Killer in Among Us again.
Yeah, deception-based game by Square Enix. You gotta kill a guy. You gotta blend in.
And I think you brought up a really good point when you were watching this of like,
what was the good point I brought up?
These games are cool, right? The games are cool to play, but it does seem like they have to be cheap to be successful, basically, because you tend to have to. I don't know. Someone said it. Basically,
somebody said it. Yeah, I don't know.
Some mischievous people that were with us at the time probably said it, but
yeah, I think when it comes to these sorts of games, it's because not only do you need to buy a copy, but all of the people that you want to play with need to buy a copy.
Yeah,
and that becomes very unlikely if you have like you might go, well, I like fucking Among Us, but I'll buy a different game. But you need all of your friends to go, we'll buy the more expensive 3D Among Us, the game that we already own. You know?
Exactly, yeah. And I don't have a computer.
A bit of a hard sell.
I don't have a computer that can run this, but my iPad can run Among Us, you know?
Yeah, but I can play Among Us on my fucking calculator.
Yeah,
and join you guys anyway. Yeah, I don't know. It looks like a deception game, deduction or whatever.
Yeah.
There was a Death Stranding 2 trailer.
Just a bunch of talking. I was like, what the fuck?
Cartoons. Wildgate, the space suit shooter from former Blizzard devs, apparently.
Oh, I didn't realize that. Well,
yeah. So this is like a board other ships thing. You're on your own ship, and then you fly out to the other ship, and you shoot them, and you board them. And
who doesn't love that?
Who doesn't?
It looked okay, I guess, but
it looked fine. I kind of forgot a little bit about it entirely, much like I did everything else. But
it felt very much like it was trying to capture like a Overwatch audience, like that sort of. It was targeting these sort of players, right? The people that would be like kind of competitive in a way at the same time. You know, is like it looks casually.
That was getting more of a Sea of Thieves kind of thing from it. Space.
I don't
Sea
know.
Of Thieves.
I don't think so. Because like Sea of Thieves is so casual. Like even in the trailers, the way they were showing the trailers, in this game, you could see them like.
Sneezes.
I'm gonna have to. I'm not gonna cut. No, I'm just gonna. I'm gonna lower the volume on them. But it does seem like, there's a guy and there's these advanced movements and then he kills like 3 guys and then they attach this rocket to a guy and it shoots him out. You know, it's like there's so much advanced. It shows you tech in the trailer that you can do, which is like, you know, mm-hmm. But I like, and Blizzard, Overwatch, like, competitive play.
Stranger Than Heaven. Yakuza, but old.
Yeah. And you're a detective, I think?
The one thing I forgot is that, so this trailer they showed was set in like the late 40s, right?
Mm-hmm.
Thing I forgot, when they showed this game like a year ago, or at the Game Awards, I can't remember what it was, that trailer was set in like 1910s. So clearly the series is going to have kind of a large time spanning story, big time frame on it. But it looked cool. It looked interesting. A little detective-y. Noir story kind of thing. Well, this one was more neon, obviously, but
Yeah,
no, that looks cool.
Yeah, I haven't played
devs
many.
Continue to make Yakuza.
Yeah, exactly. I haven't played. Couldn't really. I tried. I think like a dragon at one point, and I think I bounced hard off of that game. So probably
that
not
one
something
is like
for me.
the RPG one with the turn-based combat.
Mm-hmm.
The other ones are like beat 'em ups.
Yeah, they're beat 'em ups.
Yeah.
What else?
Toa and the Guardians of the Sacred Tree.
This was a Hades-like, from what I remember.
2D animated trailer that then becomes like top down
3D
hack and slash game that doesn't really look like it's 2D trailer part. I don't know. It just kind of washed over me, I guess.
Yeah.
I remember
not
they
much
got the
to
big
say.
fish guy in there, I guess. Whatever. Sonic Racing Cross Worlds now has Hatsune Miku like a dragon. We were just talking about that. Ichiban. The Joker. I was about to say the Joker. Different guy. Joker.
That would be awesome if they had the
And they're
Joker
doing the
from
Minecraft Steve stuff. The thing
Yeah.
is, as well, before this trailer, I think it's got like SpongeBob in it as well.
Really?
So I
Okay.
don't know what they're doing with this game.
Minecraft's continuous tirade of just,
Just fuck it, put it in everything. Okay.
yeah, fucking put it in everything, violate everything I see. But there's a game which is Atomic Hearts 2
Yep.
announced.
Atomic Hearts 2 and also their MMO they referred to it as. It looked like an extraction shooter, but
yeah.
they said it was an MMO.
Yes.
I don't know, 'cause technically and conceptually it looks cool, whereas you got the big fucking bits of the big square sliding, I guess. So it's kind of interesting. Visually it looked cool. I can imagine it from a gameplay element, it looked cool. But I think the first game, you could tell they were starting to lean into the sexual marketing a lot with those robots. They really wanted to be like, look, we've got these sexy robots. Come and make Blender porn with them. Come on, come rip the models and make porn with the characters. Come on. This Atomic Heart 2 and that the Cube game they're making, they're leaning so heavily into it now.
Yeah,
just being like, we've got a lot of fucking sex. All the women in these games are stacked babes.
Yeah, they're not woke. It's not woke.
Thigh gaps. Big butts.
Yeah, we're gonna zoom in on the breasts and the.
You're gonna zoom right in
area.
on their crotch and stuff, and it's gonna be all over the place. And it's gonna be so awesome. Don't you want to play? It's coming. And you're
literally
coming.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know.
But
I mean, you got the whole rush element. You can't really avoid that aspect of it at the end of the day.
Yeah.
What can you do? Hey, if you want to buy the game, whatever. I can't stop you. But I don't know. They had me a bit with Atomic Heart 1. I was looking at trailers and I was like, that looked kind of cool. I could play this. Didn't play it. Heard it was pretty boring overall.
Yeah, the gameplay wasn't that much of a interesting thing in the game. The visual design was interesting, right?
Design's great, and it's the same in these
ones.
ones. So the design of everything, robots and worlds and creatures and stuff, is all like really good.
Mm-hmm.
Just very sexual now.
It is very funny. Like, I don't know. It's just like the idea of customization. It did seem with like the MMOs. It did seem like you have all the women and they're like barely wearing anything. You have a guy and he's like fully tacked out in tactical gear, and it's like
this is full male gaze.
It is.
Love the male gaze, don't
but
we? The women are stacked. The guys are cool.
But it would be interesting if you like the game comes out and it turns out you can just make a guy that has his like basically his junk out, basically, something, and people go like, "No, I was misadvertised to. I was the only gays that I was supposed to sell to, not the the other gays."
Well, that's still the male gaze, because the male gaze isn't
true.
necessarily pertaining to just sexual desire, but also desire of the self.
Mm-hmm.
Like even though the guys in this game, at least from the trailer and stuff, are like decked out in tactical gear and cool masks and have big guns and stuff, that still falls under the male gaze, because it's the fantasy of the man to want to be that, as well as have that when it comes to the female characters.
But I want a tiny gun.
Which is why it's always a little disingenuous when people say like, Marvel Rivals doesn't have the male gaze because it also has guys and they're big and muscly and have their chests out and stuff. And it's like, well, I'm sure there are plenty of women that find that kind of thing attractive. That doesn't just make it not male gaze, that's still like an idealized form when it comes to masculinity, right? and
Yeah.
a form of
I
escapism.
was referring more for the variation of customization.
Oh, yeah,
you
I
know,
know,
rather
I know.
than you know these
I
guys
just
are
want to say
tactical
it's something
and they
that
can't be.
it always catches me when people talk about the male gaze, as though like just having like a half naked guy is like the counter to it, I guess, you know. But it's like it's more nuanced than that. It's not just like men like see women breasts out, you know.
Yeah.
Lego Voyagers. They looked, you know, you got a little fun Lego game, kind of
Yeah.
artsy, I guess. It says Annapurna.
It's Annapurna, yeah.
Yeah, little co-op game. You and your friend play little blocks. And
You
you
love
attach to
co-op.
things.
You love Lego. You love co-op. Here's a game
love
for
Lego,
you.
you love co-op.
I think, yeah.
Ill. Ill. Did this trailer make you ill?
This is an interesting game because I feel like this used to be.
Do you feel ill?
This was I don't know what to call it. It was
Another
like a tech
Mundfish
demo
game as well,
but
just to say. Another Mundfish game.
It was a tech demo, but it was like one of those animations that pretend to be a game, but they're just animations, right?
Quite a few of those.
Of like some animator, right, that just did that.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems like people were like, "Oh, this would be like awesome if you made this into a video game," you know. And it seems like they're following through with it. It seems like, oh, here you go. I actually found it. Found the original. I don't think it's the original, but I found like a copy of it. You know,
the big quote unquote gameplay.
You know. But it's it seems they found a publisher, and I guess someone, you know. I guess sometimes animations are enough to just go like, here is something we could possibly make, maybe, you know, and you sell it to a publisher, you know.
The one I saw recently was there was a little animation test that some guy did, and it was going around for years of like, here's my, it's like a dinosaur, but he has a big sword and he's swinging around. It's like if there was an action game where you were a dinosaur with a sword. And then I think this year it's like he started to make it, because so many people were constantly messaging him being like, I wish there was an actual game like this. It's so cool.
Mm-hmm.
It happens, you know. It happens.
Yeah, there is
supply and demand.
There is a
Isn't that
game
what we do here?
Exactly like that. It was called Death Trash. That was begun as like concept art, right? An artist made a bunch of concept art for this like game that's inspired by kind of Fallout-y, you know, top-down isometric RPG, Pixar arty, and people were like, "Oh, this should be a game," and it is. They released it into early access. It's been developed for a long time, and it does look like it's quite far from being finished. So it'll be interesting if it will get finished, because sometimes you make these concepts and what is the gameplay behind these concepts, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Can be a little bit harder to jump to that, you know?
Yeah. Last of the Summer Games Fest, we had Chronicles Medieval, which is like some war band or whatever that.
Yeah, it's
Blade.
The trailer is interesting because it makes it seem like it's some time thing where he like repeats the thing, jumps back, repeats the thing, but then at the end, it just looks like it's a Mountain Blade clone, like not even clone. I can't really say that.
My awesome epic, fucking chivalry, fucking be a giant badass guy with a sword on a horseback.
Yeah.
Yes, Crusades.
I don't think they were in Crusades. I think they were just in a county somewhere.
I mean, with
taking
the vibe.
over.
I mean, with the vibe, you know.
Yeah.
It's got the vibe of, you know, I don't know. It's a pre-rendered trailer. It looked okay, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
fine.
I like Mountain Blade, so it would be interesting if some other studio could maybe pick up on that idea and make something that is feature complete. Not to throw shade.
Finally, we have Xbox. There were a lot of other shows in between, but they're indie, and it's like we could spend hours going over every indie game. But there were some fun looking games. There were some games that I would not play myself, but they didn't look bad. It's fine.
Yeah.
Whatever. But the last big one, Xbox for now. There's supposedly going to be maybe a Nintendo one in the next couple weeks, because there usually is. They usually wait until everything is done to be like, hey, everybody, don't worry, we saved the best for last. Us.
Yeah. Switch 2. You already announced
2.
that. Yeah.
Well, because it's like they haven't got a lot coming up for the Switch 2, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think most of the games they've announced for the Switch 2 come out like next year. And outside of that, there's Donkey Kong next month, and then Metroid Prime 3 at some point.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm assuming that they'll announce whatever's coming up in the next like half a year for the Switch 2, but
That's
who knows?
true,
Maybe they'll just fucking leave it. Maybe they'll just be like, fuck it, we don't care.
You'll
There'll
buy
be
it anyway.
When they say, yeah, we'll fucking whatever. It'll come out when it comes out. We don't care if you have or do not have any other toys to support the game at this point.
Mm-hmm.
To support the system.
Have you got an article for that?
I have. I got another Polygon one. We're back with Polygon here. Again, thank you, Michael. Same Michael as before. I'll post it. There you go. So it starts with Persona 4 Remake, but I did want to mention first, they've got the Xbox Ally.
Yeah. They're making their own handheld device, basically.
This is maybe a bit misguided.
Because, like, I don't know. I don't know what OS is it gonna. It looks like it's running like probably a variation of the Windows, because I can see on the you got like the menus at the bottom and stuff. I wonder what the battery life is gonna be on this. Competition is stiff now with the Steam Deck. You know, the Steam Deck is a pretty good machine.
You got the Steam Deck. You got the Switch 2's just come out.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, exactly. Switch 2 and even some other. There's a lot of other handhelds that also run Windows. That are also in competition for this. It will be interesting if
Sony kind of swerved this, and they just made like a tablet basically that you can stream your PlayStation to.
They did kind of do that. Yeah,
it's not as good, but at least it's like. At least it's not trying to compete with like the Steam Deck, basically. It's just like a peripheral. Whereas this, it's like, anybody really gonna be buying this?
Yeah,
I just don't see it.
I'm interested in seeing how they're trying to compete. Because like one of the most interesting things about the Steam Deck is the Steam OS. You know, like Valve working on the Steam OS that is kind of crafted to be on that platform. It is going to be very interesting if they release this and it turns out that like it's like absolutely sucks because it's Windows and it's not crafted, it's not slimmed down or something, right, for this platform. But you know, we'll see. Maybe they did actually put a bit of effort into trying to make it work. You know,
it also looks a lot clunkier than the Steam Deck. And the
Switch does. With
they're both pretty sleek, but this is like they've got the Xbox controller format that they've just stretched out, so it's still got those two big nubs on either side, you know, that extend back. I don't know about this one.
It will be interesting to see the size comparison on this thing, because I don't know if did they show this in like actual real world, or did they? There's like
they had a physical copy of
like a man holding it, and it looks similar in size. I don't know. But yeah, that's what we got for hardware wise, I guess.
Well, but it was coupled with it's coming out later this year. And it's coming out same day as Silk Song, everybody. That's right. It's coming out same day as Silk Song, whenever that may be. We don't know.
What? Okay.
Did you not hear that bit?
No. I think because I went to the toilet, I think, at that
point.
So
they showed this, and then the big thing was after, you know, at the end of that segment, they were saying, like, Silk Song will be on it day one. It's coming out the same day as Silk Song.
Mm-hmm.
They did not show anything for Silk Song.
Okay.
They just said it's gonna be out. When
really gonna be
the Xbox Ally is out.
And do you think the devs are like, oh, what? Like they didn't tell them? They're like, what do you mean? They don't have this, like not way finish with the game. That would be really funny.
It would be funny if they delay Silk Song again for whatever reason, and Xbox is like, well, All these other great games are still playable. Like the Xbox Ally, everybody.
Or just be very cool and like go like, you have to finish it or we'll kill you, you know?
Yeah,
and then there's another story of like corporations coming in to destroy your game, you know, basically like publishers coming in, you know.
Persona
but anyway.
4 remake. We didn't need this one.
I don't know.
I don't really care. I like Persona 4.
People love Persona, and
I don't. I
love paying for it over and over again. It seems so. You know,
feels like it. I think they're just trying to fill the gap because they're still not ready to do anything with a 6th Persona game.
Yeah.
So it's just like, here's 3, and then the next year they're like, here's 4 as well. It's back.
Yeah.
Look, everybody, it's you, Narukami.
And this article is not in order of reviews, it seems.
But no, this is also not in order of reviews.
Anyway.
But this was interesting. Beast of Reincarnation. Didn't notice it at first because it went right by me, but this is made by Pokemon people.
Yes.
What the fuck is that about?
No, is that, that they made like something that doesn't look like garbage, I guess. It has something like, you know,
for not for Nintendo, for Xbox. They're like, here we go, here's a weird game.
But in this game, instead of capturing monsters, you kill them. You slash their throat.
That's fucked up.
Got them. I don't know. It looks interesting. I guess it doesn't. It seemed very kind of action, you know, RPG. So you know,
this was whatever. It's just interesting to see Game Freak doing it.
Yeah, that's the most interesting part of this review.
Like, the game itself is like whatever, but it's just like, Game Freak, really? All right.
Yeah.
Black Ops 7, this was like their big final game.
Yeah.
They were like, all right, everybody, here's our final reveal. A new Black Ops is coming, that's right. I know you were all waiting with bated breath. Well, could there ever be another Call of Duty? Surely not, you said. Surely there could never be another Call of Duty, especially another Black Ops. No way.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you know it, Black Ops 7.
Yeah. It was a big success, the previous one, right? It was a big success. And
I think Zombies was back. Zombies.
Yes. Yeah. Zombies did show up in the trailer.
Zombies.
For some reason, we were like, oh, is this an Inception game? Because they had the folding buildings in there. And then we're like, oh, no, it's just Black Ops again.
Speaking of zombies, The Outer Worlds 2.
Okay. I watched a bit of the expanded
I watched the follow-up thing. The game looks fun. It looks like they're having a lot more fun with it, and they've got a better budget and schedule for it this time around.
Yeah.
The game looks good. I would
more
play
money.
Yeah, more money for sure, especially after they get our £70.
yeah, exactly. We have the increase in baseline pricing, I guess, is really coming in. We're getting hit hard.
Yeah.
Gamers, the most oppressed minority in the world, is getting oppressed hard.
I don't know if you watched all of the follow-up thing, but they were talking about the floor system in there.
I went to take a shit, I think, around that time.
So they've got, like, floors in there that you earn that come up by how you play.
It was in the first game, right?
Yeah, but they've got some very creative ones in there.
Mm-hmm.
One of the ones they talked about was bad knees.
Mm-hmm.
Where if you're crouching and you walk along, you're like, I can't remember what they said, like 20% faster or something, crouching.
Yeah.
But every time you get up from crouching, there's a loud, like, cracking noise that alerts people around you. Like, they hear your knees pop and they all turn towards you.
Yeah.
Which is fun. There was a kleptomania one where it's like you get better prices for selling stolen stuff, but also you might just be like, there's a chance when you look at something in the world, your character just grabs it without you doing it.
Yeah. It is interesting.
Somebody something like really important all of a sudden.
It's always interesting with this sort of like kind of humorous stuff, because it's like
humor woven into gameplay.
Yeah, but it tends to I wonder if like people start complaining about it. You know what I mean? There is that degree where certain things are funny because there are very funny things, right? But when you actually play the game and you're playing it for 40 hours, and then that happens, and you're like, "Fuck, man," like it's I wonder if it's going to be pulled off well,
But this game did look good, but yeah, unfortunately after that, and it was you could go and buy it, you go and pre-order it.
Yes,
it's fucking that's expensive. And I remember a same thing happened with Avowed, where it wasn't as expensive as this, but it was still a pretty pricey game. The game they released earlier this year, the RPG, and it's like a lot of people were like, "This shit is just too expensive for me. Like, I don't want to buy it."
Yeah. Oh, they'll break eventually. They'll buy it for that price.
Yeah, the real fans.
You're gonna stop.
What's his nut said from Gearbox, Randy Pitchford.
Yeah,
real fans will buy it. Clockwork Revolution. This is a bit of a Bioshocky kind of steampunk game.
Yes,
it's a bit some RPG elements. This game, I just like. I feel like this was supposed to be like a huge draw. They spent ages showing a long-ass trailer for this game.
They did.
A completely new reveal. The world premiere,
Mm-hmm.
But they didn't talk about it really afterwards. And the game generally just kind of washed over me a bit. I don't know. I was like... It just kept going. And it looks like... I mean, it's AAA, isn't it? It's like... It all looks great, but I have no interest. I just forget about it, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It does. Is this Obsidian again? Is this developed by Obsidian?
In Exile Entertainment.
What else have they did? Let's have a look. Cause it's interesting how they're just kind of there's so many first person RPGs coming out where you have Avowed, you have Outer Worlds.
Wasteland. They did the Wasteland series.
Oh, that's interesting.
The Bard's Tale, Wasteland.
So this is their I guess not first, but maybe
Wasteland remastered.
Making a first person RPG. That's interesting. They made Bard Tales. Bard Tales was fun.
Best of luck to them. Salute.
Yeah. But
High on Life 2.
Your favorite game of all time,
Justin
right?
Roiland is gone. They killed him. They took him out of the game.
Unfortunately, how could they?
But I was hearing... I haven't played High on Life 1. I don't know anything about it. But obviously you have the gun voiced by Justin Roiland.
Yeah.
And I think I heard that in the DLC, it's literally he misplaced that gun. So it's not in there. So you just don't have that gun.
You sometimes lose things, Why can't your character lose?
Sometimes you lose a gun that talks.
That talks and
sounds
also has allegations.
Problematic individual.
Yeah.
Which were dropped. So I believe we have to say alleged.
Alleged, yeah.
Alleged. They are alleged. They have not. They were dropped.
We would never spread misinformation or try to assume anything on this podcast, honestly. But
I hate assuming. Honestly.
Yeah. High on Life.
Assuming is the like they say, ass of you and me,
Mm-hmm.
And who wants to be an ass made of them? Not you and me, that's for sure.
That's true. Ninja Gaiden 4. Ninja Gaiden.
It's Ninja Gaiden. Gears of War Reloaded. Gears of War. Super Meat Boy 3D. Why are they making this?
3D platformer. It's popular because of Astrobot.
Yeah, you know what? That's a good point. No, because this would have had to be in development.
I'm just making fun. Maybe they'll have Meat Boy. Maybe they'll have Meat Boys dressed as different characters from the world of Xbox, like the Chief.
Yeah.
Master Chief.
Meet Chief.
Yeah, and
then,
Gears of War guy, Marcus Phoenix.
Meet Phoenix.
Jesus.
And then
Minecraft is I am Meat Boy, Steve, you know.
Smeets.
Yeah.
Exactly. I don't know. I mean, is Super Meat Boy 3D? This seems to be the thing. All of the big indies from 10 to 15 years ago are getting sequels in the last couple of years where it's the same game in 3D.
Yeah.
You know,
more money.
What if it was 3D? And it's the same game otherwise.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I mean, Super Meat Boy worked in 2D. I feel like it's going to be a bit of a pain in the ass in 3D.
You have to be more precise,
dimension.
You know?
Yeah. Grounded 2. They spent a lot of time on this one. Grounded 2. Grounded is back. And this time, they're even smaller.
Shrunk again, and they're in a park, I think, instead of a garden. It's cool. I played the first one. It's interesting. Like, it was pretty creepy. Like, certain things, like certain insects were like, I don't want to fucking deal with this because it looks disgusting.
Yeah, well, when you shrink down and you look at a bug up close, you're like, oh, these things really are horrible.
Horrible creatures, you know?
Like you get a bit of distance and it's like, oh, a little ant. How cute.
Yeah,
how cute.
Exactly.
And you get right up close to the end, you see all the little, like, fucking fibrous hairs and giant fucking unfeeling eyes, and they're constantly, like, gnashing mandibles, and it's like, fuck this thing.
Yeah. But
fuck all of them. And you're telling me there is trillions of them on Earth right now?
Quadrillions and they could kill us
even?
at any time?
There's more of them in a square mile than there are people on the planet. That's
true. They can crawl into your mouth, live in there.
It's fucked because they could kill us. If there were any way that they could be harnessed in such a way, it would be over for us.
That's why Ant-Man is the most powerful.
It is.
All the heroes.
If they had one central queen, we would all be dead.
Mm-hmm. And she had higher levels of reasoning than just food, I guess.
No, even if she was just thinking about food.
Yeah, I guess.
If it was like one really big queen that controlled every ant on the planet, we'd be done.
True.
We would be food. We would be food.
But yeah, it was interesting that you can have little bug companions, and I was like, oh, you can have ants as your friends.
Yeah, you can ride them and stuff. Yeah, the armor. They got classes. I don't know. It looked fun. It looked fun. I never played the first one, but it looked like a fun game. This also looks fun.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll give it a go this time. Maybe I'll play the first one first. I gotta get the story.
Yeah, true. I fell young.
How they get grounded.
Yeah, you get grounded.
I fell young. This is a very story-driven game, right? I kind of forgot about this completely.
Yeah.
Don't nod game.
It's just it looks like a Uncharted-y where you do like a lot of platforming when it comes to jump. There is in the trailer, there's a ship falling apart and you're jumping from ledge to ledge and stuff. Yeah.
It's kind of NASA punk vibe, very realistic space stuff, I guess.
Here it says in cooperation with European Space Agency. So this trailer didn't seem it didn't appeal. It didn't seem like it was like.
Yeah,
I was after seeing at the end of it, I wasn't like, oh yeah, I don't want to join the space agency because it seems like they're gonna send me on a planet when I'm gonna have to do platforming, which is a no-go for me, unfortunate. I have bad knees.
You know, I'm scrolling ahead a bit, and then we're getting to the point where I don't remember any of these games.
You don't remember any of these? I remember.
But let's keep going.
I remember Keeper, Double Fine. They make
this is what I was scrolling past that one and starting to get lost. Keeper, new Double Fine game. It looks cool.
You're a lighthouse.
Finally, a new Double Fine game. When was the last Double Fine game we got? Fucking
Psychonauts 2. I'm pretty sure.
Psychonauts 2. Yeah.
Yeah. Looks interesting.
Looks cool. It's
the
Double Fine game. It's a weird little thing.
For a second, I thought it was made by guys that made Xenoclash or something like that, but it wasn't.
What that is.
There
are no ghosts at the Grand. This looked like a fun little puzzle adventure thing.
Yeah, it seemed like you're doing house flipping, but you're also doing other things at the same time. So that's interesting to like combine multiple things. Yeah, you're trying to restart a hotel. Indiana Jones DLC. Well, that game sold well, so I guess they're making more content for it.
See, this is what the fuck is Kronos the New Dawn?
That's your favorite dev is making that. Your favorite dev is making that. Bluebird team is making. That's their new game.
Oh, this was the Bluebird. I remember the Bluebird team thing coming up, and it genuinely it wiped everything that came afterwards from my mind.
Well,
I was so preoccupied thinking about Bluebird team that I forgot that there was even a game after the studio's name.
Well, it worked, I guess, because it has to do with time travel. I'm pretty sure.
That doesn't make any sense, but okay.
But yeah, looks like a
Invincible fighting game. Oh,
like a horror game. Yeah, it just looks like a horror game.
Bluebird team horror game.
Invincible, your favorite thing, which is a fighting
Invincible
game.
as a fighting game. This is apparently being made by Killer Instinct stuff.
Okay.
Which should be like some Iron Galaxy people, maybe, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll probably end up being pretty good. I saw some people saying that they had some hands-on with it ahead of time, and they said it was quite good. Presentation-wise, I don't really know. I also don't really care about Invincible at all. Maybe if I read the comics, I'll like it, but I didn't really like the TV show. People love that Invincible nowadays, don't they?
Yeah, they do. It's very popular.
They really like this game. They love this guy and the Omni-Man.
Mm-hmm. There's all
and the Seth Rogen alien as well.
Meme potentials. Yeah. At Fate's End. This is made by Spitfire developers, which
actually this looked cool. I remember this.
This is it probably would be a good game because Spitfire was I think critically acclaimed. Yeah,
nice little, it's cozy game. Sad.
Yeah, it's sad.
Game about
out there they make sad games.
Dying people or something.
Passing away on the other side.
This, on the other hand, looks like a cool action game.
Yeah, looks like a Metrovania maybe a little bit.
Looks neat. Cool art style, cool animation. Music's nice.
Resonance.
New Plague Tale game.
A Plague Tale.
I still need to play those first two Plague Tale games.
I haven't played them, so can't really comment. It seems like it's taking part like in Rome or like ancient Rome or something because they moved from France because who the fuck wants to live in France?
Yeah, I think it was I guess this must be a different story, right? A different Plague Tale, because the first and second games were like follow up. There was like there were two stories, but they were the same characters, I think. Mm-hmm. This one, I guess, is brand new people.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty cool. I hear those first two Plague Tale games are quite good stories. So didn't they win like Game of the Year or something? Like the first one?
I'm not sure. Maybe
I'm pretty sure it won like a big Plague Tale Innocence.
A biggie, you think?
Oh, was it 2019? I feel like it won.
Final Fantasy on the Xbox.
It was nominated for Best Narrative at the Game Awards, which is not as high as I thought it was, but still, never mind. Final Fantasy on Xbox. Yeah, so they said 7 Remake and Rebirth, I guess, at some point will be on there. But Final Fantasy 16 is also being put on Xbox, which I thought it was already on there, but I guess not.
Okay,
I just kind of assumed it was there already, but apparently not. But I saw somebody point out, excluding the first MMO, Final Fantasy 11, Xbox is now the only console where you can apparently just natively play all Final Fantasy games.
Wow.
Apparently.
The irony of that.
I think is kind of true, because I don't know if you can play 10 and 10.2 on the PS5.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't play 16 on the PS4, I think. So, yeah. Planet of Lana 2. I don't remember what
I've played, I think, a bit of the demo for the original game. It's just like a puzzle game platformer.
Oh, yeah, I remember this game now. It looked interesting.
Yeah.
A little, puzzle platformer. Yeah.
This game.
Artistic, very artsy. Anemo. Anemo. This was... hyper Korean.
Yes, and
the trailer starts and you just get that immediate feeling of like, oh, this is a big Korean game.
Yeah, and I was like, is this AI generated a little bit? Because it had a very similar kind of cat stuff. Cats
like, animals.
There used to be. Remember, there was that one controversy last year with that
the Game Awards. Yeah, that weird game that didn't look real at all.
Yeah, exactly.
It was weird because it was too fucked up to not be AI, but at the same time it was too consistent almost to be AI.
Yeah.
So it was very strange. And then people looked further into it and it was like, this game does not and will never exist, really. It's very clearly like a scam for AI investors to hook AI investors and run away with a load of money.
Yeah, but this it gave me that vibe. It does seem like a real game, and I don't think Xbox would allow themselves to put something that's not real on their showcase specifically.
Are you sure?
Really? No, I don't know. I feel
Microsoft is pushing the AI shit very heavily nowadays.
I don't know. I feel like they're more like, I want to replace your job rather than I want to make a cat. Honestly, it seems like Microsoft is more moving towards AI agents rather than generative AI stuff. You know,
I don't know. I think it could exist in both.
I guess
use for them. Anyway, I don't know. It was fine. It's like a animal collecting gacha game. It's like it's a shame for me. And you know what? I dread to think of the person who it is for. They are.
Oh, it's coming to mobile PC. So it's like on every platform, basically.
Yeah, it's a gacha game. Of course, it will be on mobile.
It's a gacha game.
You need to, because one, you play it at home, but two, sometimes you're out and you're like, well, I need to do my pulls though.
My dailies and my pulls, yeah.
They don't want you thinking, oh, I can't buy any pulls until I get home. They want you to be on the train thinking, oh, I got a couple hours. I guess I'll do some pulls.
You can't escape.
They have a new clam banner. I need to see if I can get the yellow clam in this banner. It's got a 1.2% chance of dropping. But if I buy 200 pulls, it goes up to a 3.4% of dropping. I'm making money.
Eventually, we're all going to be playing gacha games because normal games are going to be too expensive.
Eventually, food will be gacha.
That would be awesome, man.
It's like in Andor, you know, when they go into the prison and you have the food and then you compete to get flavor.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be like that. You compete to get more pulls of food.
Yeah.
So sometimes you might pull on the food gacha. What comes out? Handful of peas.
Yeah, like,
but if you have more pulls from your work in the day, you get 5 pulls, handful of peas, a carrot, 5 slices of ham.
Pretty healthy, honestly.
1 slice of bread. And a Freddo chocolate bar.
And milk.
That's a meal right there. And
a carton of milk.
Milk. The drinks is a separate gacha machine. That's a separate banner is for drinks.
Yeah, you have to put your mouth under the nozzle because they don't give you a container.
Yeah, and you also don't know what's going to come out of the nozzle until you pull it.
Could be milk, it could be gravy.
Could be milk, gravy, cola, old water.
Yeah, all specifically old water.
So you know the taste of old water, you know, that's been sitting out for a bit.
Sparkling water, but it's flat, you know.
Yeah, specifically flat sparkling water. all sorts. Well, that's the show.
Pretty interesting at the same time. But yeah,
shows. That could be a good. I feel like we could make money if we made the gacha.
A vending machine that gives you a gacha. Yeah.
The gacha restaurant.
Yeah.
You don't know, you get pulls. The more you pay, the more likely you are to get a normal meal.
Imagine you're there with your friends and then you're like, like you don't know if to split the bill or not because Bobby got a carrot and you got a lobster, and it's you're splitting with Bobby anyway. Although he's been chomping on a carrot.
Bobby paid 5 pulls. He got 2 carrots, a bushel of grapes, half a chicken breast.
Yeah, raw,
and a can of Diet Coke. Whereas you did 1 pull and you got a porterhouse steak.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, I'll just pay for my 1 pull.
And then it's like
and his ass is like, well, give me half the steak, and it's like, well, I don't want half the carrot, man. Okay.
And then
this is my steak. I pulled it.
Yeah, it does become a little bit because like sometimes when your friends are like, "Oh, can I have a bite of that?"
Exactly.
But then you're like, "No, you're not having any of my fucking food."
Come to think of it, because we had it this weekend, the Brazilian place is kind of like a food gacha, really.
Yeah. But they kind of you get to choose whether you take the pull or not. Honestly.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Every now and then you keep getting like the chili beef, and then the guy comes over and says like, "Do you guys want steak?" That's the manipulation of the percentages on the pull.
It's they peer pressure you into eating the bad cuts, more than the good cuts. But I really like the gacha all you can eat. No, you can eat all you can pull. All you can pull.
Yeah, we should think about the gacha restaurant. I'm tempted to be like, take this out of the episode.
No one's going to listen to this. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, no, I know. I'm just kidding. But that was the game show. That was the Summer Games Fest. There's some idle stuff you can look at in between. You get the Wholesome Direct, Latin American gaming, women in gaming, black voices in gaming.
A lot of what if Stardew Valley was fucked up, bro?
That's the natural progression. I was thinking about this is that you have the one really popular thing, let's say the farming game, for example.
Yeah.
Then everybody tries to make their own farming game, and then once people realize there's too many farming games, that's when other people come out of the woodwork and they go, well, I'm going to reimagine it, and it's going to be it'll be like a fucked up farming game,
Yeah.
It's like, this farming game, you're using it to escape from your troubles, and this one is going to be like a reminder, like the farming game can't save you from your dead family. It's like my fucked up brain comes up with stuff like that.
Yeah. Or capitalism. You make a game like about space capitalism, and then you charge 80 quid for it.
Yeah, 70.
70. Let's not be that much.
Misconstrued.
It's soon enough. It will be even higher.
It's £70. Unless you want to buy the deluxe edition, then it's £90.
Mm-hmm.
And God forbid if you're in some fucked up country like Canada, where the game is probably like $120.
Yeah, or in Poland, because prices in Poland for video games don't get adjusted for spending power.
Yeah.
Like on Steam, you get that a lot.
Why would you do that? You're in Europe.
Yeah, and it's like, oh fuck, man.
Why would they do that?
I'm working in Żabka, man. I'm not making dick. But yeah, it's interesting though. Like nothing. That's the thing with at least with the Xbox thing. If you got the Game Pass, you probably can play a lot of these games with your Game Pass, and maybe that's what they bet on in a way.
Yeah, it's a lot of stuff. It's a lot of stuff to try and absorb, but when you're not really that invested in any of it, it's like, it's all just washing over me a little bit.
Yeah, the real winner of the Summer Game Fest is the Unreal Engine. That's the real winner here.
They can make funding another 17 years of Fortnite.
Yeah. And
they're saying that Fortnite is probably funding another 17 years of Fortnite, to be fair.
That's true. They did the Star Wars Battlefront thing for it. Somewhat thing.
They're putting that in
which is
Fortnite,
interesting. But yeah, we were also going to talk about movies, but I guess not anymore because
otherwise we'll forget about them. So let's just do a quick thing. You watched The Fall?
Yes, I watched The Fall. An interesting movie about it starts. It's so weird because it's about this stuntman gets into an accident during making a stunt, and then you know, he's in the hospital and he tells this story to this little girl, you know, and it that kind of ends with this message about like stuntmen and like, you know, how important they are to the filming industry, you know, and stuff.
They are.
They are very much, but the middle of the movie is very much a different story to that. It kind of runs away quite a bit from, even thematically, because you feel like, oh, maybe this is like about his life, but he has this tale that's like so different to what his life is that you're like, oh, he's just telling a story. But production design, like, it's really interesting looking, all the costumes and stuff. The movie was made over 4 years. They didn't make any stages. They just went to places, which who would have thought it would be so interesting. You could find so many interesting looking places in the real world. Yeah. You don't have to put them on a green screen or on a stage.
That's exactly how I felt with Conclave, where it's like, that's a pretty looking film, but it's just because the location they're filming in is pretty.
Yeah, that's true. You know, those monks back then, when they were making, they had years of work that they could put into these places.
Nowadays, the Cardinals are too fucking lazy. I don't want to do shit.
Yeah, all these fucking people don't do anything. All these, maybe there are like, I bet there's still monasteries out there that make like furniture or some shit. But I think it was like a bigger deal back in the day when you would have a monastery that was like the best at making like a certain tech, like fabric or something like that. But nowadays it's like, I don't know, outsource it. But yeah, what else? What about you, Ben? What have you watched? It's the fall was okay.
I'm kind of glad that we don't have a lot of time and we don't want to stay on this because I watched the film naked and I feel like I'm too stupid to discuss it in a meaningful way.
Yeah, it's a very tough movie because it involves a lot of subjects about things that
sexual assault.
If we cared about actually being monetized and, you know, being seen anywhere with our podcast, we would have cared not to talk about, or we would say SA and things like that. But unalive. But this is a movie. I don't know. I think it comes into this area of movies like Nil by Mouth and these kind of realist not real Britain, but British realism. I don't know how to that's the kind of term that kind of comes to my mind when I kind of watch these movies. It's
a very rich. It's a very philosophical film.
Yeah.
About so much stuff. it's got so many strong themes.
Yeah.
The relationships between sexes, time, society, just so many huge broad themes. It's great. It's a fantastic film. Brilliant performances. I wanted to watch it because David Thewlis is a fantastic actor and I really love him, but I'd never seen this film. I didn't really have a great idea of what it was about as well. So I was like, I'll watch this so you can watch it as well if you want. And then it's literally like second one of the film is like a sexual assault. And it's like, this is not going to be a fun one to talk about. But luckily we spent an hour and a half talking about video games instead. So I don't have to spend that much time feeling like a fucking moron talking about this great movie.
Yeah.
But I like the film. I like the film a lot.
It's definitely it's a really heavy film, but it's worth a watch. And it is always interesting to kind of see London, that side of London. I guess that side of any city,
in the early
honestly.
90s, you know, as well.
Yeah.
Before it had too much of like a cultural revolution, you know.
Yeah.
Back between because I feel like it had the same sort of thing as like New York, I think, where generally people just saw it as like a very disgusting place, you know?
Yeah.
And then excuse me. You know, this was a big cultural reworking of it and stuff, and now it's a generally a pretty nice place to go and walk around. But you see David Thewlis walking around at night in this movie, berating people with his philosophical views and random comments in the middle of the night, and it's like, man, that's grim. Especially seeing as there's a lot of improvisation in the film as well.
Yes.
A lot of like, maybe not necessarily guerrilla filmmaking, but a lot of just like going out to a location at night and just filming for like a few hours,
Mm-hmm.
When he talks to the security guard, I was reading up earlier, him talking to the security guard, that silhouetted scene where he's talking about the apocalypse, and they're talking about the mark of the beast and everything,
the barcodes,
all of that are barcodes and stuff. All of that was like, they did multiple takes of it, but it was all improvised, their conversation. And it's just like crazy, incredible film, but it's dense and hard.
There's just like really also gets you thinking about just being a man in a way. It's just like kind of the relation of kind of just violence. What men. I don't know. I guess a point I wanted to bring about this movie, the idea of like men kind of exhume violence by just being men, in a way. There's that scene near the end of the movie where they tell the landlord, let's say, that character to fuck off, right?
Well, he's not really the landlord.
He's just like some guy. I called him.
No, he was the lady's boyfriend.
Yes, he was their nurses.
He's just like a horrible, chaotic rapist.
He's an American Psycho-esque character.
He is very Patrick Bateman.
Yeah, and that scene of them in the kitchen, at the end where she grabs the knife, and it's like, it's so you can see how like angry he gets in a way.
Yeah.
Although the entire time he's been there, he's been doing violence onto them, like not direct violence, but just his imposition was violence, right? You could call it violence,
both
right?
Direct and indirect.
And the thing about it is that like she had to move into actual physical violence, like she had to grab a knife, right? And therefore suddenly there's like this barrier that gets crossed. That's like, wow, why did you do that? Like it's like. Although he's been crossing that barrier the entire time, like it's very.
He gets pissed off, but then he exists like he's very distant from the reality of it. He's clearly like very fucked up, so he laughs it off in the end, as he does with every piece of horror that other people inflict in this film. He has that very specific laugh where he like snorts and inflates his cheeks and kind of like chuckles a bit. He does it every single time. Very good performance, but like horrible character.
Yeah,
absolutely. Like, and it's his dialogue was incredible. The way he would switch constantly, like swap into these like random hard questions.
Yeah,
and constantly like undressing people.
Extremely direct. Like he's like just like and just. Understanding the power, kind of in a way, like he through the way of portraying himself to kind of like it's just insane, very scary, like like the
he has that lady. He gets that lady who's given the masseuse earlier on in the film. He convinces her to go out with him. Yeah, and then. Almost in like a dark comical way. They have a waitress that's waiting them at this table, and he's kind of berating her a bit and trying to antagonize her, and she's very clearly like put off by him. And then the next time you see him, when he's going home in a cab, he's with the waitress instead. All of a sudden, and clearly just like swapped to a woman that was like easier to torment basically for him. Hard movie.
It's hard to talk about. It's a very depressing,
great
but
film.
recommended. That's the final thing that I want to talk about. The dumbest thing on the trivia list has pretty high number of for naked. On IMDb. I laughed so hard when I read this. At the beginning of the movie, Johnny, David Towles, says he used to be a werewolf in Harry Potter and the Prison of Azkaban. And in sequels, David Towles plays Remus Lupin, a werewolf. And I was like, what the fuck?
He certainly does. He certainly does.
What sort of trivia is this?
Well, he does, though. It's true. He does. He does talk about being a werewolf and then is a werewolf in a different movie at one point.
Dumb, you know.
That's some good trivia.
It's so dumb.
Naked.
Yeah, naked. Thumbs up. I can actually, as a movie, thumbs down.
This film's kind of yucky.
This film is kind of yucky indeed.
This film's a little icky.
Oh, it was Scum.
SA.
Scum that I was also going to mention as like the same sort of...
from the Summer Games first stuff.
No.
I thought
that's also like, no, I was talking about the movie, the British movie I said that's like that British realism sort of thing. So like, I know by mouth, Scum, and this I would kind of put in the same sort of like hard to watch, but at the same time really kind of deep movies, you know. And but yes, Scum was a thing. Let's not talk about Scum because I don't fucking care about them.
Anyway, that's all from us this week. Look at that, nearly 2 hours of incredible discussion about awesome video games and some movie. What a week. We'll be back next week as well to talk about even more. I've been Ben, this has been Max. You've been listening to Dead Ensigns. I nearly belched before I said it, but in my mind I was like, don't do it. And if you'd like to hear more Dead Ensigns, you can go to... I'll save it for the end. This is the treat.
Nice.
If you want to listen to more Dead Ensigns, you can go to Apple Podcasts, Amazon, Spotify, and basically anywhere podcasts are traded. All those places will have a way to review and save it and subscribe, whatever the function is. You can go there and do it, and it's much appreciated if it's positive. Please, no negative. But if you don't want to use those apps, we're also on good old YouTube, where I upload the podcast as a video. And you can like, comment, and subscribe there. And if you do leave a comment, we'll check it out. We'll give it a read. But you could also email us, deadensigns@gmail.com.
It's like a video game. Like, you leave a comment, it affects what we'll talk about, you know, in the podcast maybe.
deadensigns@gmail.com. One more time. We'll talk about it. We promise. Unless it's really bad. like just slurs or something.
Maybe
then we'll probably talk about it. We just won't read it. We'll probably be like, hey, we got a really awful email.
Unfortunately.
Either way. Thanks for listening. And here it is, as promised, my belch. I couldn't do one. I lost it. I'm sorry. I'm so embarrassed. I'm so sorry. I didn't want to let everybody down, but I've just embarrassed myself even further. I'm sorry.
No.
I'll never be on the podcast again. Good night.
Oh.
It's shorted out, sir. We're gonna have to phaser it.
Then what are you waiting for?
Right away, sir.
Faster would be better, Ensign.
I can't, sir. We don't want to...
That's enough.
But, sir...
Stand aside, Carlton. I'm going through. You're alive. Good.